Arvania 1, status report. Transmission uplink secured. Sector 3073 connected. Designated spot has been reached. The blueprints were submitted successfully. Blueprints verified and ready. Hydroponic lab initialization sequence commencing. Over.
Hello and welcome back to Arvania Constructions. And thanks to everyone who voted in this poll to decide what our first building on this planet will be. I'd say we have a clear winner. So today we are working on Module 1, the Biosphere Lab. It's been a long time since I held this beauty in my hands. It took us quite a while to reach 3,000 subscribers, but hey, we did it before GTA 6. Jokes aside, I'm thankful to every single one of you. Now it's time to take it off the wardrobe, dust it off, and get straight to sketching out ideas. I'm opting for 3 hemispheres of varying sizes to form the lab. The first step in the planning stage is to figure out the best, most logical way to arrange them, and how to construct a supporting platform accordingly. Placing the domes directly onto the ground makes very little sense in this case, as the terrain is far too uneven. That's why we need to build an elevated base to level things out. With the template ready, I'm cutting it out to use as a guide for the base. This ensures that all 4 parts of the building are perfectly positioned and equally spaced. I think hexagons and sci-fi simply go hand in hand, so each of the circular sections will be getting its own dedicated hexagon built around it. Okay, off to tracing. For this base, I'm using a thick piece of polystyrene. It gives us the perfect sturdy foundation we need, while still being incredibly easy to shape and cut. Since the piece was too small, I cut off another and glue it in place using PVA glue. To make that seam completely disappear, I'm filling the crevice with a bit of wall joint compound or wall filler. Once that's completely dry, I can sand it down until it's perfectly smooth and give the edges a nice, subtle bevel. Since the base is elevated to clear that uneven alien terrain, the structure will need some access. So, to reach it, I'm crafting a small flight of stairs from the exact same polystyrene material. With the stairs shaped and smooth, I can finally glue them onto the main base, and our foundation is ready for painting. I'm mixing up a custom concrete texture using a blend of wall filler and black paint. Once it's thoroughly mixed, the entire base gets a generous coating of this mixture to give it that sturdy, industrial brutalism look. Now, since this platform is perched right on a steep mountain slope, we obviously need a railing so we don't accidentally tumble off. I 3D printed these strips flat, and of course I couldn't resist sneaking some more hexagons into the design. The brilliant thing about PLA is how incredibly easy it is to post-process, especially when it's printed this thin. I mark out exactly where the fence needs to bend to hug the angles of our hexagonal platform. Then I apply a bit of heat to the joint and simply bend it using my metal ruler. Once it cools, it holds its shape perfectly, which is absolutely fantastic. With all the bends precisely matched to the platform's profile, I can finally glue the railing sections into place. As you saw during the planning stage, my initial plan was to wrap this fly screenette around the domes. I even went as far as painting it before gluing it down, but the end result wasn't looking good. I was really holding out for a clean, crisp pattern. So I scrapped that idea entirely and decided to do it properly instead. by designing it from scratch in Blender. Now, go away. The easiest way to do this is by grabbing an icosphere and applying a wireframe modifier. Since we only need hemispheres, I simply slice the bottom half away. After that, I give the edges a nice bevel and subdivide the geometry to make everything smooth, crisp and clean. And with that, it's ready to print. My trusty printer is hard at work once again, ensuring these structures print cleanly without collapsing. If only printing your own house was this simple. They are already looking fantastic. As always, I'm saving this little strip. It will come in very handy in just a moment. But first, I'm adding some color variety to these frames. These parts act as the main support structure, designed to hold the glass domes. By framing the glass inside this geometric skeleton, it not only distributes the physical load, but also gives the lab that signature futuristic sci-fi look. To connect all three of the domes together, we need a way for us to move between modules. I'm crafting some heavy-duty airlocks out of airtray clay, shaping them to perfectly hug the unique curves of each dome. I'm leaving just enough space in the center for a clear transit corridor, before using a sculpting tool and a touch of water, to blend the transitions and to smooth everything out. Once the clay is fully cured, I can sand it down. This cleans up all those rough edges and uneven surfaces, making sure the parts fit perfectly flush and are structurally secure before they get their final finish. Rather than leaving them plain, I'm applying a dark grey plinth around the base of each airlock. This matches the exact shade of the dome structure, tying the different modules together and keeping the design language consistent across the whole build. Even the life support ventilation tower gets dressed in the same color scheme. Next up, I'm mapping out the interior layout for the three domes. I've planned 3 distinct zones, starting with the smallest dome, which acts as our entrance. From there, transit paths will lead into the 2 largest spheres, keeping the entire facility interconnected. My main focus for the largest dome is a massive central alien tree structure with pathways wrapping all the way around it, while the other ones will house plants to be used as food. And with a basic blueprint sketched out, it is time to start fencing in the garden beds. This little worm is called a purge line or prime line. It is what the printer draws right at the start of every print, building up the pressure in the nozzle and wiping away any leftover residue so the actual print starts completely clean. After snipping off the ends, I glue the first piece down onto the platform. Applying a bit of heat to the PLA makes it incredibly easy to reshape, letting me curve the strip to perfectly fit the contours of the garden bed. This is my scrap box, filled with failed prints, support material or leftovers from color changes. I'm a huge fan of saving and repurposing these bits, rather than letting them go to waste. So we're going to do just that. This section right here will be the dedicated containment bed for our central tree. Crucially, we need to make sure our little scale representative can actually fit through all the openings. I made this tiny figure last time to set a consistent scale for all the upcoming builds. At just 1 centimeter tall, he represents my height in this world. Well, maybe with a tiny bit extra. Now let's go through the stash to find the perfect greenery for each dome. There are lots of different plants and life forms in there. While planning, I came across various ideas and shapes. The idea of a greenhouse or biosphere stuck with me. In the poll, I wrote hydroponic lab, but that quickly evolved into a biodome, where a specialized soil mix would help the plants develop and grow. I'm laying out the garden beds using my beloved soil paste. More on that mix later. The toothpick I just cut into pieces goes straight into the soil to serve as a climbing aid. I press the first stalks into the soil paste while it's still soft. It's unfortunately very warm right now, which is why everything is drying super fast. To add some color variety to the greenery, I'm mixing in these yellow flowers and this interesting specimen. As I mentioned during the planning phase, I'm dividing the domes into 3 different zones or climate sectors. The first, smaller area serves as the entrance. From there, we can access both of the larger domes, but they are all interconnected. In the largest of the plant domes, a massive tree, or rather, an alien-like tree-shaped structure stands right in the center, allowing us to walk all the way around to admire it from every angle. Surrounding it will be planting beds for species that thrive under similar conditions, varying in size, shape and color, but all fascinating on their own. That is also how we structure the rest of the biospheres. Inside the medium dome, we're setting up a small plantation dedicated mostly to edible crops. These require a more humid environment compared to the previous zones. And the last biosphere, the entrance area, is being stocked with some highly resilient berry-like plants. They are incredibly adaptive and adjust perfectly to their environment. The ground inside the system is made of sand to create a natural atmosphere. This sandy path connects all 3 areas.
We have scouted the planet's surface and secured plant samples. Of every species, our scanner flagged as safe within the immediate perimeter. We have brought back at least 1 specimen to cultivate in the newly constructed greenhouse. They will serve as sustenance and for research purposes.
My leftover filament bin is full of the coolest tree supports. I've mentioned before that I could see myself turning these into alien trees or plants, and now they're finally getting their time to shine. Well, at least one tiny piece of them. I'm painting this one in a reddish brown and adding these small flowers, before placing it into its planting bed, which in turn goes into its designated spot in the center, where it blends beautifully with the surrounding greenery. There is something so satisfying about turning everyday things, like a simple fake flower, into something totally out of this world. It's always exciting to see what comes of it. Now that all the plants are in place, it is time to permanently install the domes. Securing these icospheres into their designated spots feels like sealing the fate of this tiny ecosystem. I'm using a bit of glue to lock them down, making sure the seal is tight enough to keep our simulated atmosphere trapped inside. The inner biospheres are secured. Now we are just missing the glass domes and the connector pieces in between. Time to get those installed as well. Once these outer glass shells are locked into place, the station's main life support system can finally initialize. From this moment on, the vegetation's survival depends entirely on the microclimates thriving under these shields. The tower also finds its spot at the back of the platform. In the center, right between all the domes, we need to regulate the water and air exchange. This tube bends beautifully when heated, giving us a much cleaner curve than just folding it cold. The transfer is handled by a pipe, linking everything back to the tower, which serves as a water reservoir. Now for my soil paste recipe. It's a mix of PVA glue, wall filler for extra strength, bird sand for a nice texture variety, a bit of real soil, some stones or concrete crumbs for even more structure, and finally brown and black paint to achieve a rich dark tone. This soil paste, however, is a bit more coarse than the one inside biospheres. We are going to need quite a bit of this to build up the terrain and blend the levels together on the planet's surface. To match the color of the rest of the terrain, I'm blending it together using various washes. To mount the platform onto this uneven terrain, we need some small leveling blocks. I'm putting down a bit of my soil paste onto the ground first and embedding the blocks right into it. Of course, the platform needs some extra support. For that, I'm using the leftover pieces of my fence, customizing them to fit the slope perfectly so they can hold up the structure. To plant the struts naturally into the environment, I'm applying some more of the soil paste around them. And with that, Module 1 is complete. The Biosphere Lab is officially online, and our tiny ecosystem has found its permanent home on this alien world. Let's take a closer look at what we have accomplished here. If you want to stay updated on this planet's progress, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel so we can
Initiate the next construction phase. Over and out.
become a part of the channel and help decide what comes next. Once we hit 4,000 subscribers, this huge diorama is getting its next upgrade, and you will get to decide what we build. And now we'll take you along for Module 2. So, let's build this world together. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And now, until then, see you in the next one.